You son of a bitch. You finally pulled through. I don't know how you did it, you little blue spiky fuck, but you pulled through. Oh, you deserve a hug. Oh my god. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Let's talk about Sonic. This game. This fucking game right here is actually pretty awesome. Now, I haven't finished it yet. I've put in about 9 hours. I'm on Ares Island, a pretty good chunk of the way through. Um, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Um, Maybe I'll give my full thoughts on the game later, but for now, I just figured I'd give anyone who's actually eager to know my thoughts on this game a little idea of how I'm feeling so far. Um, I'm thinking Game of the Year for me. If not, then maybe Xenoblade 3. It's like a tie between this and that, which I guess just goes to show what kinds of games I'm into, but I don't know. Like, I'm not disappointed in the fucking slightest. This game is currently sitting at about a 72% on Metacritic. Got a 7 out of 10 on all fucking critic websites. And I don't understand at all. In the slightest. This game is at least an 8, maybe 8.5 from my experience so far. Now, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There is still some graphical pop-in, and there are some very, very minor issues, but nothing major, nothing that should ruin the fun of the game. It's a fun game, and I think that's all that really counts at the end of the day. The cyberspace stages are fine. They're about what I expected. Like they're a step above Forces, but still a step below Generations, which is about where I figured it would be. Generations is like peak boost Sonic in my opinion. I mean, you know, as far as like level design and like overall, like level design and controls, I think Generations was where it was at, but this is somewhere between that and Forces in terms of gameplay. At least for the cyberspace stages. Combat-wise, for me, this is about as good as a Sonic game gets in that regard. Obviously, the Unleashed Werehog stages did experiment with a more action-oriented gameplay, but I think this one does a good job incorporating it into, like, the speed gameplay. I guess it's like if you took the daytime stages and the nighttime stages and just slapped them together. That's what you get here in terms of combat, and it definitely feels like a very Sonic-y moveset, and this game's fucking wild. Like, boss encounters can get pretty fucking nuts. Not like, you know, the most challenging thing in the world. This still isn't anywhere near as challenging as Unleashed is, but it is the most challenging Sonic game in a while, I'd say, at least for me. So challenge seekers might get something out of this game, but if you're looking for something on the same level as Unleashed, you're probably not going to find that here. For me, though, this kind of hits that middle ground in terms of difficulty, like right where it needs to be, in my opinion, because I found Unleashed to be a little too difficult. I still liked it, of course, but just, shit was a little too much sometimes. But then everything after that was, you know, a lot easier, particularly colors and especially Forces, goddamn. That shit was easy as fuck. Even on hard mode. Hard mode didn't do hardly shit to make that game more difficult, but Generations was challenging enough, but I'd say this one might even be a little more challenging than that. So, yeah, it's right where it needs to be for me, like right there. Keep in mind, I am playing on normal, so I mean, I don't know how much harder hard mode is, but as far as playing this game on normal, like it's where it needs to be, at least in my opinion. The puzzles are actually pretty fun, at least for me. Nothing too crazy, nothing like, say Zelda, for example, but they're decent, they get the job done, and there are some minor head scratchers here and there, so yeah, not too bad. And the best way I could describe the puzzles, they open up the map more, so there is like incentive to actually do them. Think of them basically like those, I don't know, towers in Assassin's Creed. The ones where you press triangle or whatever and more of the map opens up. For this game, it's puzzles. You complete puzzles and then more of the map opens up and you can see more shit by checking the map, like cyberspace stages and all that, side quests, whatever. So yeah, there is incentive to do them, and they're fun enough. They definitely get the job done, I'd say. Story-wise, so far it is actually very good. Probably the best story we've had in a while. I don't know if I'd say it's the best story. Like, people have been hyping up the story quite a bit because, they got a comic book writer, and you could tell it's definitely the most meaningful plot we've had in a while since, Unleashed in the Storybook series. Those were the last games that actually tried to have a decent plot. I mean, Forces tried to go for a more serious plot, but, it didn't go all in, and it just felt very half-assed, much like everything else in that game. But here, I'd say it's actually a lot more fleshed out, and yeah, just it's pretty good so far, but keep in mind I have not finished the game, so it could get even better. Or worse, who knows, but for now, pretty good. Then we get to the music. Oh my god. I mean, they always nail it, but this time it's different. I don't know if I'd say the soundtrack is better than anything we've gotten so far, but it's definitely on the same level, and there's a surprising variety. Like on the map, on the main map, the open zone. In the open zone, you've got the piano pieces, like in Breath of the Wild. But then in the cyberspace stages, you've got EDM, electronic music. There's even one that goes fucking full-on Eurobeat. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? So, yeah, that's something. And then there's the first, Titan boss fight that you fight as Supersonic. Whoever's fucking idea it was to go full-on metalcore for the boss music in this game needs a raise, okay? Because oh my god. I mean, it helps that that's the kind of music I'm into, as if you wouldn't be able to figure that out, but fucking epic. Okay, that shit goes full-on metalcore, and I am all goddamn for it. Like, when I got to that boss fight and I heard that song, my jaw hit the floor. You cannot do that shit to me. Okay? I ain't been this fucking hyped since I heard the fucking like Bowser's Fury theme, okay? When I was playing through that game and they just went full on metal for Bowser's theme. Not to mention how fucking awesome he looks in that game, but I mean, we're not talking about that, but more metal in video games, please. Like, just okay? More metal in video games. If this is where we're going, like I couldn't be happier. Like, but yeah, music overall really good, but that one in particular, can't go wrong, man. Can't go wrong. I ain't even mad they don't have Crush 40 in here, because like they made up for it. They definitely made up for it. But yeah, overall, man, like I love it. Exploring is fun to me. You know, like exploring the open zone is fun. Completing puzzles is fun. Combat's really fun. The cyberspace stages are actually decent, like in terms of level design. And I know that a lot of it's fucking plagiarized and it's all, you know, stages from the past. We know this. We've known this for a while. I knew what I was getting into going in, so that's whatever. And obviously, you know, plagiarize the level design as well. I don't know if it's all plagiarized, but yeah, I think there is some semi-original level design, but, you know, nothing too inspired. And, ironically enough, the best level design is the plagiarized level design. No shit, because it's just taken from actually good levels, so... Of course, the copied levels would also technically be good. But yeah, overall, fun exploring, puzzles are fun, combat's fun, cyberspace levels are decent, music fucking slaps hard, story's pretty good, so... No complaints here, honestly. So, you know, for me, so far I'd say it's at least an 8.5, and... Hell, it could even end up being my favorite Sonic game. But, you know, obviously I haven't finished it yet, so I can't really say that, but... I don't know. Might end up being. Just in terms of the fun factor. I know there's obviously objectively much better games, and objectively much better Sonic games, too. But I don't know, man. Like, I ain't taking the critics seriously. And I hope Sonic Team doesn't take them too seriously either. I'm thinking once the user scores come up, the user scores are going to be much higher. We're talking like at least an 8 on average. That's my guess. But yeah, as far as critics and game journalists, I really hope that Sega does more of this going forward, because I do think this is a winning formula. Like, I think we can cut them a little bit of slack, because, you know, you can't expect them to hit the ground running with something they haven't really done yet. And all things considered, they did a surprisingly good first attempt, because keep in mind, this is something Sega hasn't really done yet. You know, the whole open world thing, of course they're calling it open zone, but that's just a fancy word for open world. Obviously it's nowhere near as good as Breath of the Wild, but anyone who was expecting it to be, like, chill, okay? There is no fucking way that a Sonic game, of all things, was gonna be as good as Breath of the Wild. Like, just... I know I've been singing, you know, Frontiers' praises, but let's be honest here. Can't top Breath of the Wild. Like, let's be honest. But who was expecting it to? That's just unrealistic expectations, but I don't really have too much more to say, so, Final Vert, really good. If you had any doubts about playing it, don't have doubts. Like, it's actually really good. Best Sonic game in forever, so play it. And yeah, that's all. This is the Gothic Gaming Geek, for once not questioning his life choices. Have a good one.